Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the program. The issuance of the national identity card in Cameroon within the past decade had become a riddle of the gods that not all oracles could interpret. The difficulty in its production was a shared responsibility. Many applicants had shuffled personal information to the point that the biometric system identified them, nothing short of potential or suspected criminals. On the part of the official production agents, some of them took advantage of the misfortune of others, what the late Cameroonian popular music icon Lapiro de Mbanga translated into the street language as Ere Fombotuku na Dame Fondos. The current laws on the ID card production chain needed a review for the riddle to be interpreted, and presidential text came. One person has taken the bull by the horns and triggered the solution to a national problem, to an personal identity problem. You may say it is his job. He did his job. What he did was his job. Yes, we agree with you, but we also want to let you know that not everyone does their job. Martin Balgangele has done his job well. The Delegate General for National Security has left indelible marks in the history of Cameroon public administration. He did it for the passport. Today, the national identity card is obtainable in 48 hours. He deserves our applause, at least for now. Others have to emulate this. In public administration, it begins with one person. This is Kilian Dandifon in Yaoundé, and you're watching Press R. National ID card in 48 hours. Yes, can't we? That is our focus on Press R today. But we have not forgotten that the day before, we had the International Women's Day celebrated around the world. And we had a very, very large attendance, mobilization, celebration of the 40th International Women's Day in Yaoundé and other parts of Cameroon. What are the lessons that we learn from this year's celebration of the International Women's Day? Those are the two topics we're going to entertain you with on today's edition of Press R. Yvonne Momabi is a civil society actor. He even likes to be called activist because that is exactly what he represents. Thank you so much, Yvonne, for accepting to come to the Press R set today on our invitation.
Yeah, good afternoon, televiewers. Good afternoon, co-panelists. Thank you, Kilian. The pleasure is mine.
Tatiana, on the other side of the set, the extreme left, Tatiana Kawa Adamu is an entrepreneur, a female entrepreneur. We have diversified the panelists on the set. You're welcome to Press R.
Thank
Tatiana.
you, Kilian. It's always a pleasure to be here. Hello, viewers, and delighted co-panelists.
Another lady in another domain, Sandrine Moma. Sandrine Moma is a peace journalist. She even is a corporate journalist, reporter. Thank you, Sandrine, for coming.
Thank you for having me on the set, Kilian. Good day to all the viewers out there.
Thank you for coming. Joseph Desiré Zebaze is a human rights defender. He defends the human rights. If your rights are violated, just ask for his number. He will answer and make sure that you get into your rightful position as a human being. Joseph Desiré, you're welcome.
Thank you, Kilian. I'm so honored to be here with three venerable women. I don't know why you did it like that, but I'm so happy to have my sisters and mothers with me in this panel.
Thank you so much. And let me also just remark that you have been working on letting every citizen, not only in Cameroon, you join ID for Africa to make sure that every individual has an identity. the national identity card, the birth certificate, and other identity. Thank you very much. I know you're going to make mention of some of these exploits on today's edition of Press Hour. But for now, we're going to call on Emmanuel Avemnui, who reads the newspapers. It's about the press on Press Hour. Emmanuel Avemnui for the press review.
And again, politics got the better of newspapers the weekend in Cameroon. Honorable OC is SDF's flag bearer in the Eagle's eye as SDF picks OC again for 2025 presidential elections in the Guardian Post. As Joshua OC is unanimously voted SDF presidential candidate in the post. I am ready to lead Cameroon, says OC in The Sun, then unveils nation-saving strategic plan in The Advocate. In the Voice of the Voice newspaper, it is OC's ambitious blueprint for a new Cameroon as he vows to resolve Anglophone crisis if elected in Newswatch. And as OC says he is open to alliance but not with extremists in the Herald Tribune, ace journalist Ailey Smith diagnoses SDF's capacity to build sustainable coalitions for democratic process in municipal updates. The median, however, wants to know if Joshua OC is political spoiler or serious contender for president, happening when anti-Biya regime sentiments resurrect in Europe in the Guardian Post. And immediately, Atanganji declares merciless crackdown on politicians fanning flames of violence on the same paper. Atanganji reinvigorates crackdown threats in The Voice. To Newswatch, Atanganji fires warning shots at Kamto. Kamto immediately accuses CPDM of recruiting foreigners to register for elections in the horizon. And as Minad Boss resumes intimidation on opposition, collective response to his excesses is proposed in the Horizon newspaper. Violence against state officials in Belgium is strongly condemned in Cameroon Tribune. To Cameroon Insider, government hits attackers and issues protest to Belgium. Coming after anti-Biya regime protesters battered Minister of Youth Affairs and Civic Education and Cameroon's ambassador to Belgium in the Guardian Post. Then Cameroon government promises to fish out attackers of state officials in Belgium in the Post newspaper. Just when Northwest Regional Assembly President is indicted by the Public Independent Conciliator for the region for dictatorship and favoritism in the Horizon, Municipal Updates reports that Northwest Conciliator uncovers discrimination and hate speech at the Regional Assembly. To Newswatch, Northwest Ombudsman unearthed grisly malpractices at Regional Assembly. The pilot reports that Northwest Public Independent Conciliator faults Northwest Regional Assembly boss for promoting hate speech and discriminatory staff recruitment. The interest of Newswatch is on the Public Independent Conciliator's report, which indicts Northwest councils for extortion again. To the Post, Northwest Public Independent Conciliator's report indicts Regional Assembly for promoting favoritism and accuses the Assembly for ignoring House of Chiefs and grabbing power. At a time, the pilot quotes French ambassador to Cameroon, Thierry Marchand. The Anglophone conflict will be resolved in the months ahead. And in no time, locals cast doubt on French ambassador's promise to end Anglophone crisis in the Post newspaper, especially as 73 war-fleeing Anglophones are stranded in Yaoundé in the same paper. The Horizon indicates that the 73 Northwest IDPs cry out for relocation in Yaoundé as they face extortion and have been expelled from government-owned shelter. Just when Bar Council decrees ghost courts over police molestation in the Voice newspaper, lawyers ground courts over rising brutality of security forces in the Guardian Post. Police harassment then sends lawyers to the streets in Newswatch. To the Horizon, Cameroonian lawyers observe 3-day strike over assault on PES as Bar Association protests police brutality against lawyers and civilians in the Post newspaper. Then the ingenuity of women in Cameroon is celebrated in Cameroon Tribune as week-long activities towards International Women's Day begin in Cameroon Insider with sport walks. The National Post then presents Women's Change Makers, While the Ultimate newspaper highlights outstanding Kupe Maninguba women, the Guardian posts, however, thinks fabrics shouldn't conceal marginalization of Cameroonian women. A major step forward in Sonora's reconstruction is announced in The Sun. The advocate indicates that first phase of a contract to reconstruct Sonora has been signed. A major breakthrough, Sonora's GM records, according to municipal updates, and so Sonora enters reconstruction phase after years of uncertainty in the dawn. The same story is equally carried by Eco Outlook. The Bekoko Limbe Idenna roadworks are said to begin in municipal updates at a time the Post headlines, "Welcome to Cameroon's garbage and political capital." Until I come your way again, this is your Hour with the Press.
Thank you so much, Emanuela, for reading the newspapers for us and for our viewers. Ladies and gentlemen, you missed nothing if you did not go to the stands. You just need to watch Press Hour. We're going to review the press for you, as Emanuela does every weekend. Now, our topics again, for a reminder: national identity cards in Cameroon in 48 hours. Now, the passport in 48 hours, the national identity cards in 48 hours. Yes, can't we? We have waited for so long, but it has come. So, we are appreciating this effort. I'm going to start with you, Tatiana Kawa Adamu.
Yes. Can't we? Of course we can. If we've done it, we've seen it, experienced it with the passports, and since it's the same authority delivering these ID cards, I don't see a reason why we cannot. The certain realities, though, that are more concerning to me would be those with the cases of double identities and the other special cases. How well is the system in place for those cases to be resolved? We have stories of people who have spent a lot of money in the near past in order to resolve these issues. It's true that it's fraud, and a lot of people, because of the certain realities of Cameroon, have tried to alter one information on their identity for reasons best known to them. However, I do believe that a large number of these people do so ignorantly without really knowing the consequences, and I believe they've been punished enough. If there's ways to really get this taken care of so that we have all Cameroonians identify as Cameroonians. Identity is a very important factor when we consider who we are, where we're born, where we can identify ourselves, where we feel the most comfortable is at home. And if at home we are not able to move freely and involve in other activities, we have people who are unable to open bank accounts because of problem of identification, then it's a problem that I believe that should be taken more seriously. Thank God now the system is better in order to take care of this. We're yet to hear of success stories where people with complicated cases have actually gone through. Another thing that I think we should look at is in long term, is this new system able to eliminate the fraud aspect of it? In 48 hours, is our system sufficiently digitalized, computerized for us to ensure that this person coming to ask for an identity card is who they say they are? Are we just going to be giving out foreigners? Are foreigners just going to come and get ID cards because maybe the verification period is very limited? All of this, I believe, should be taken into consideration. We should close the gaps for possibilities of fraud in the future so that neither the users nor those that are in contact with the users that represent the government should not take advantage of each other. So I believe it's important.
Thank you so much. Not having a national identity card, Zibaze, Joseph Desiré, is a human rights violation. But before you tell us how this is a human rights violation and the role you've played in this, let me attempt to explain some of the issues that Madam Kawa has raised. Some of us personally were invited to the Delegation General for National Security, and we were given the advantages and how it functions. Concerning the double identity card, which is a big problem in our country, we all know that. The police is aware of it. This is what they told us, and this is what I'm sharing with you. That has been taken into consideration. We know Cameroonians have, for one reason or the other, as you have said, got involved in double identification, which is criminal, which actually, according to our law, is criminal. This is what the Delegation General for National Security says. They have given us, some of those people, up to June. It started in January, up to June, to apply to the regional delegations of national security where they are. You can apply even here in Yaoundé. Apply to them, stating exactly why you change, and then giving the two options, the two identities you have, one for this reason, one for the other. They will talk with you, and then use one, delete the other from the machine, and you will have one identity card. I'm talking with proofs. I went there. I was told this information at the Delegation for National Security. Now, for other cases, yes, the other cases will be sorted out. Long term, will it be eliminated? That is exactly why the system, they told me, is in place, to make sure that one person has only one identity. You know, or elsewhere in the world it works. When your fingerprints, even just one, is applied somewhere, all information about you is there. No double identity if that is eliminated. So they have told me this. I'm sharing this with you on the panel. I'm sharing this with our people out there who may want to know. Also, those who registered recently, they told us that they are going to come out with a list of all those who have receipts that were given them in the old system. The names will come out with the complaints why your identity card has not yet come out. If it has not yet come out and there is no problem, you will have your ID card in the new system with what is happening. If you had a problem, it will be stated to you, you correct it, and then you'll be given access to the new identity card. Yes, now to you, Joseph Desiri. Refusing someone national identity card is actually a violation of human rights. I think so. We should applaud this measure that is going to make Cameroonians, we know how many we are, and they know how to go about our business.
Yes, of course, Killian. And we have been working on this issue, especially since 2023. We released a position paper, we sent it to the President of the Republic, proposing some solution, and we believe that in 2 years advocacy, some of the measures that have been taken in the 2 decree of the 28th of February are from this process.
Yes, that presidential decree.
Yeah,
that
those
permitted
two,
the Delegation General for National Security, or the Delegation
Yeah,
General.
those 2 presidential decree. And we believe that there are many things inside the decree, especially the one of the number 058, where we have been pleading and applying for interoperability, for example, meaning that the ID system should be connected with the taxation, should be connected with the birth certificate system, should be connected with the passport system, so that at the end of the day, all those issues are connected, all those systems are connected, and it is taken in consideration in the decree number 058. So we thank on that, and we are also seeing that at a time when a decree is taken like that, some administration may take a year, but the next day on March, we have been experiencing on the field that the delegate of
Delegate General for National Security.
Delegate General for National Security has already taken measures that even in Lolobodorf, we watch it, people are experiencing the 48 hours, the issuance of the ID card. So we are so happy on it. And at the international level, I have been invited to attend from the 20th to 23rd of May in Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, the annual general meeting of IG for Africa, where this best practice will be shared among the other countries, one of the countries that will be there. So I'm one of the speakers on the session concerning identity and dignity. So we're sharing this best practice.
Thank you.
We are so happy for this accomplishment at the level of Cameroon.
Thank you so much, Sandrine. I don't know whether you have the ID card or you have the receipt, but this is something that has brought a sigh of relief to so many Cameroonians. Even for those who have not yet had it, they are now hoping to have it and testify like those who have already had their national identity card from beginning to end, well, from the appointment period to issuance period, 48 hours.
Well, Killian, you began by asking if I have a national identity card. I have the receipt. It's been almost 2 years. And I can say the news of 48 hours, it was actually a relief, but then like Tatiana said, what happens to some of us who had already registered and we have those receipts? How do they help us? How do they facilitate the process of us having our national identity card? That's what we look forward to. It is true that when there is development, we should applaud those efforts. We are happy. And equally, we are looking forward to a situation where maybe even birth certificates could be issued within 24 hours.
Yes.
And even the 3 months probation period, which they give for birth certificates, we could even extend that because, okay, look at women who put to birth in the hospital and they have complications. Some of them stay for longer periods in the hospital, and even when they go back home, they don't have the strength to go out in search of birth certificates. So what happens to those cases? They now have to pay extra because they do not have the strength to do that. So we are not only looking at the situation where we would have ID cards in 48 hours. We are going to other sectors. Other sectors should try to emulate, should try to put this into practice so that life could be more, it could be easier for Cameroonians, especially I'm more concerned about birth certificates because we have older children right to common entrance and first school living certificate. That's when they start seeing the urge to make them birth certificates. And it's all because of issues like this where sometimes people have to leave some rural areas and travel. And then even concerning the ID cards which we have in 48 hours, we've seen them in mostly urban areas. We want to be sure that if we go right into the communities, we could have people there receiving their ID cards in 48 hours. So when that is done, we'll totally celebrate. But as for now, we want to see how far that will go.
What they call is not a justification, it's just information. This is done online. You do the pre-enrollment online. We mean that wherever you are and there is internet, you're going to enroll. You'll be given an appointment. So distance, as it's locally commonly said, it is not a barrier. And they have plans to create centers. They are going to create, they told us, I continue to talk about what I was told at the National Delegation for National Security, that they are going to buy electric generators to take to places where there may be internet, wideband. Yes, you were
actually, Killian, yes, we are looking forward to that because in Cameroon we still have communities where you cannot access the internet if you don't go to a particular spot. So we are looking forward to that. Until then, that's when we'll say, okay, we can now totally celebrate this. Because if it's only at the level of Yaoundé, Douala, Bamenda, Maroua, Garoua, and we go right into the suburbs and those people cannot benefit from these services.
We're going to move to an event to Yvonne, our sister, senior Yvonne. But just to remark to you first, Sandrine, that internet is not the problem of the police. It's another sector. So you are saying other sectors should play their role. The police is playing their own role now. Yvonne?
ID cards in 48 hours. I am a solution-oriented person. And it's like, again, Cameroon is tackling the issue or resolving the problem from the stem and not the roots. What pushed Cameroonians to start multiplying their ID cards or having double? Some to come back to the age where they could go for public exams. Some politically motivated because at one time the windows to access ID cards were just everywhere for voter reason. Free IDs were established. And those are most of the cases you find in that basket of fraudulent ID cards. It's laudable that after this length of time, we've realized that every Cameroonian has a right to be identified individually as a Cameroonian. Let's go back to the roots, which is birth. Births should be registered. And automatically, when you get to the age of an ID, that springs up. It's not rocket science. We just decided to remain analog, to practice the analog system. And I recommend also that if our civil status in general from birth is registered, I don't know whether we need again to start going out to count Cameroonians, do a population census. Let all the other stakeholders in this chain queue up and make life easy for Cameroonians. We have non-Cameroonians who are a huge chunk of those who have those ID cards. For electoral reasons or for what reasons, I can say to gain our nationality just from the ID level, we will also need to, even at the council levels, those who issue these fake birth certificates for people to go up to having national ID cards and at the end of the day being identified like double ID. Some don't only have 2, 3, 4. I've had cases of people with that many. It is, I'll record it in 2025 like a step forward, but let's go back to the roots, start cleaning from there and coming up so that I'll go back and quote Mr. Biya, who said, I would like to leave Cameroon like one who brought democracy. That democracy should be at all levels. Cameroonians should feel comfortable with their... I have found myself with a non-Cameroonian at the police station, but that person could come out with a Cameroonian ID card. And I was like, oh no, I know this person, I even know where this person is from. You don't treat us like equals. Can they give us back a reason? Can they give us back the dignity as Cameroonians? It's Cameroonians first before all those others.
Exactly. Whoever you are, whatever position you hold, you are first of all a citizen of the country. And I think from what you have said, this is the solution. Thank God you are a solution-oriented person. Once this is digitalized, made completely biometric, what is happening now? Politically, as you raised, it would be very difficult for one person to have more than one ID card. That is going to also be a political success.
Yeah, that should be taken even to the voter registration. Imagine we just had that system. Immediately you come to an office, pop up the check and they know you are Cameroonian. Why not even give out the voters' cards automatically or after 48 hours and attract Cameroonians back to the political process and electoral process in Cameroon? I think all of that is possible. It just needs the will with Lord, the Delegate General for National Security. I was impressed when he went to the Southwest and complained about roads. That was also a clarion call. All stakeholders to the social well-being of Cameroonians should sit up and make life comfortable for Cameroonians.
Now, this is where the point is. We should make this clear also. And I want to have your opinion on this. It's not like saying, if you go there with fraudulent documents, you're going to be given a national identity card.
Yeah.
If you have all your documents, what Madam Kawa raised, and what you also said, that some public agents took advantage of this, and they turned it into business. Mm-hmm. Now, if you go there with your full information, you don't meet anyone, any obstacle on your way. You have your ID in 48 hours. So we should be asking ourselves, do you have all your documents that have no fraud? Are you ready to go and declare where you made conscious or efforts or mistakes and there is a problem in your card? Yes, you're going to start now.
I think the first certificate we acquire in Cameroon is the first school living certificate. You have a birth certificate, which is just a normal, which should be a normal document, is the first school living certificate. Most of these IDs are for age issues. Can we ask people to come up with their first school living certificates? Like the bona fide document that identifies you. Because I had a case she sent to me and I realized she had with four different ages. The same person, but with 4 different ages. So if age is the problem, an example, people should come with their first school living certificates. I had mine in the 70s. I don't know which magic I will make to change a first school living certificate so that I don't. So that's another solution. But please, there are thousands and thousands. Even the voter apathy or non-registration, the complaint is that Cameroonians are not coming up. It's for lack of ID cards that Cameroonians are not coming up to register. So if all of this is resolved,
yes, thank you so much.
Answered many questions.
Yeah, and let me tell you, the police also told some of us, you know, the police, they have so many methods of doing their investigation. They told us that away from birth certificate, or first school living certificate, they will go to a church where you were baptized. In those days, they just ask the church, give the baptism card of this person. I'm telling you this, and they know how to investigate. So what else should be done as solution, Sandrine?
Well, just as you said, and as Madame Yvonne raised earlier, if we have to go back to the drawing board, down to common entrance or first school living certificates, you'll see that it will be difficult to change some of this information we have, the reasons why people want double identity or triple or whatever. And even back to the base, let's start from birth certificate. Like I said earlier, if it is digitalized and you already have your birth certificate registered, maybe stored in a drive or in cloud or wherever, the moment you want to do an ID card and they ask you what is your name, they just click on your name, your information comes, where you were born, when you were born, the time, maybe if they want to add a midwife, whatever.
Thank you.
So you see that it will be very easy and it will save us time and stress.
That's good. This also, Mr. Zebaze, is if this was done, this also will help us to know exactly what population we are. Because if you look at double identity cards, double birth certificates, it's possible that this counts on the number of people we count in Cameroon. If one person, Yvonne says, has 4 ID cards, it's possible that the person could be counted 4 times. So, in terms of population, what does this measure of the Delegation General for National Security going to do for our country in terms of human rights and the numbers?
Yeah, of course. For us, when we are speaking about human rights, we are focused on what the laws is saying. So when you go to Article 2 of the new decree of the 28th of February, you will see that there is a full direction that has been created at the national delegation, the National Center of Identification Title Production. So they have some clear missions, like implementing the national policy. I don't think that the issue of double identity is really a big problem, because we should make sure we should have statistics. I'm not sure that 10% of Cameroonians have it. The real problem that we want dignity, we want interoperability, and you will see that in this Article 2, they have give mission of interaction, interconnection, interoperability with the other identification system. People in school now, in secondary school, know that each student have a number that you cannot change.
That's another good example.
Yeah, so if we connect our birth certificate system that is run by BUNEC with the taxation, with the school, with even this public health data and others, so at the end of the day, we don't have to be here arguing again, because all the data, when you give your name, when you put your fingertip somewhere, they know that this is the person, and they know all what about. And it is at that moment that we are also begging that we should not use those information against the owners. Yeah, we really need to build trust between the population, between the citizen and the state, that is taking all those data, and there should be a sort of confidentiality about the data. The data should be used to promote my rights, not to go against me and bringing human wrong situations.
Thank you so much. You've used one other example that we treated here on Press R, the reformer, the Minister of Secondary Education, Professor Nalova Lyonga, who has instituted in all secondary schools the unique identifier. Means that any student anywhere, even when you change your school, you remain the same person. Yes. Those are examples. We have things that are changing.
Exactly.
Today, we have the Minister of Public Health, of Public Service and Administrative Reform, the Minister of Public Service and Administrative Reform, Joseph Lay, who has the new personalized, computerized management of state functionaries. That is ugly. That is also reversing the trends, the ugly trends that we knew before. So we have people in this administration whom awards should be given, if I were the one to choose.
Yes, Kilian, please, just before you go further, I want to say it's a whole chain. You know, secondary education has instituted this, and now we have the Universal Health Coverage Program from the Ministry of Public Health too. So you see, it's a whole chain. If we are able to harmonize this data, it makes it so easy. Like, okay, every day we are trying to urge people to enroll in the Universal Health Coverage Program. But now, if there was a harmonized system of information, right from birth certificate, we know with a single click we get your information, and even the process of registering you will not be so difficult. If we start maybe taking even, it's true that when you are born, maybe as you grow up, your image might change. So maybe when we get to the level of ID card and you already have your image there, that image, immediately they want to enroll you for a program like Universal Health Coverage. They already have your image, they have your information. It doesn't take time. So in a few minutes, you go in there, they print your card, they hand it over to you. But then, because we don't yet have that harmonized system, it still makes it a bit cumbersome.
Yes, Tatiana Kawa.
Yes.
You raised so many issues from the beginning, pertinent issues. We attempted to explain from what we know from the police. Now, after the panelists have gone round, you now have the last word on this topic to tell us now, after some of the issues we raised, we've had some attempted explanations or solutions to them with the little information we have from the police and other public administrations. So what now do you have about the new identity cards obtainable in 48 hours with quality, better quality of course, with a safer and it goes that fast?
Definitely, Killian. Like I said earlier, I do believe that it's possible to obtain this in an all-round safety way, and like Sandrine and the others said, it requires effort from everybody, every aspect, and especially the users. We need to be aware of the information that is out there for us. We need to be more protective of our records. There are so many cases where, for some reason or the other, even getting the baptismal cards and first school living certificate. Personally, I don't think I've ever seen my first school living certificate. I don't know what it looks like. So if we're more protective of this information, then it makes us smarter citizens. Also, I think I want to reiterate the fact that we should also take into consideration really those who do not have access to these services, those in rural areas, those who have to pay transportation, say 20,000 francs before going to spend 10,000 francs and then 5,000 francs. What if the case is complicated? The extra petitions or requests that they have to make, the extra investigation, will it cost more money? So we need this information to be able to know that it's going to work. But like I said, it looks promising, and it's a good experience with the passports. So if we're able to get these ID cards also fixed from the root, even with the birth certificates, then I'm sure that it's going to work.
Thank you so much. And from your worries, I think there's one thing that is left to be done. It was promised, and people are looking up to seeing that done from the Delegation General for National Security, publishing the list of all those who have receipts, and there are so many of them, and making them know what next to do to have the new identity card.
Indeed.
I think you agree with me.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that, actually.
It's a summary of, it's a conclusion of what we have here. And I trust you. All the other people are looking up to. And at this moment, we are going to look at another topic, the 40th International Women's Day. What are the lessons that we learned? I see Tatiana is still in the Women's Day fabric. From yesterday, I know that you celebrated so much, and the lessons are going to start from you. What lessons do we learn from this year's International Women's Day celebration in Cameroon?
Yes.
Let's contextualize it.
Thank you for starting with me again. I like going first. So, yes, for this year, personally, my favorite message is the aspect of protecting the lives of women. And I was happy that it's actually printed on their attires. In light with the theme as well, the lessons that we can learn are numerous. We have to be aware of our rights. We have to have authority, and I think that that's sometimes the part that intimidates the men sometimes. We have to be empowered, just like the theme says. Having authority doesn't necessarily mean stepping over a man or anything. It's knowing who you are, being comfortable in who you are, and being aware of your surroundings, knowing what you have to do in order to live a comfortable life. A woman is la mère de l'humanité. So I am of the opinion that
the mother of humanity.
Right. I am of the opinion that what you put into the universe, what you put into humanity, is what comes back to you. So the more we fuel women with tools that can help them be happy, then the world, I think, will be a better place, because we'll raise better children, we will have cleaner homes, cleaner streets, we will have all of these things that just makes the world living. So these lessons are important generally and individually as well. Each woman needs to be aware of their position and what they need to do. Like I said, access to information is very important. A lot of us are not aware.
Power. Access to information is access to power. Now,
Exactly.
let me just ask you, please don't take much time to answer this. You just said that men feel intimidated when they hear about empowering women. Do women have any plan to revenge, or to say, men, you've been doing this to us, we're going to do that back to you? Or why do you think that men should be intimidated when they hear that women...
When you talk about revenge, it implies that there was something wrong did to women and that we want to retaliate. But I don't think that's the point here. I just believe that women tend to be more can nurture more, and what intimidates men sometimes is the fact that I think the men that get intimidated are kind of insecure and have little self-confidence in themselves. But definitely a wise woman will make good use of power that's given to her, and I believe she will handle it even better.
Do you feel intimidated when women are getting empowered?
No, I believe when it come about who is a woman, a normal man should know that the woman is also his mother, his daughter. So how can I be intimidated by my mother or by my sister or by my daughter? I think
they will tell you to go and fetch water.
Yeah, I think the men are the people that should be encouraged to really support the women, to empower the women so that they can help the family too. They can sustain also the life in the family. I'm not intimidated. I'm someone who is, and you can see that I'm alone in this.
Yes, and you're feeling
in this panel. I'm feeling very well. I'm confident because I'm with women.
Yeah, you're good.
Yes, Sandrine, the lessons that we learned this year in the celebration of the International Women's Day in Cameroon.
I think I'd want to take us a little bit away from the lessons we learned, but what narratives have we really changed this year?
Yeah.
Personally, like we were on the panel yesterday and we said it shouldn't just be a day. It should be a whole month of activities, awareness programs. And these awareness programs should not be just for the women, because I think we've gone through so many trainings, even more than the men.
Yeah.
I think we need more seminars for the men, because these men have to understand some of the plights of women. And how do you understand if you're not trained? Every day we go for training. I think you see that a lot. You see flyers, women's empowerment program and stuff like that, but how many do we see for the men? So sometimes we take the pain of going for these training programs, we empower ourselves, and the men think they don't need empowerment. So sometimes it's reduced even to zero, because by the time we come back home and we are trying to explain, they don't even understand from the perspective which we are looking at it. So let's not look so much at what lessons we've learned, but what narratives have we changed this year. Let's look forward to periods where we are going to be celebrating a whole month. We have a whole month set aside to commemorate the fight against HIV and AIDS. Why not we set out a month to commemorate the woman, sensitize more women, and equally the men who have to accompany the women in achieving these objectives, like they put it in most cases. So let's go back to the drawing board and let's try to change the narratives in our society. Let us know that sensitization and empowerment is not just for the women. The men need it too, to understand us.
Now, Yvonne, is it lessons, or you want to continue on her course to say what are the narratives change? Because I see they are all related.
That was just one day. But we are 30 years after Beijing. So we should go back to the Beijing platform for action and ask ourselves, where are we? An introspection. We do an evaluation. In all aspects of life, how much has improved in the perception of mainstreaming gender in all policies. Yes, about yesterday, I tried to watch on TV. I realized that the Cameroonian woman, is now more comfortable commemorating this day of women's rights, no longer attaching it to a fabric. I saw in the hinterlands, women came out in whatever attire, and freely paraded, celebrating themselves, showing their resilience. We think that she mentioned a month. I am not for the fact that one day out of 365 or 66 is perceived as a day women are given their rights.
You have Women's
Our
Day,
rights
you have
are
Mother's Day,
No,
you
no.
have Real Women's Day.
If
you
all
have so
of this
many
could
days
come
for the
up,
woman.
In a
Killian, is because the gender gap is there. It's really wide and needs to be bridged. You have daughters. You will not want them to live like my mother lived
Not at
or
all.
as I lived. You want them to feel the same like their brothers. You will treat them the same like their brothers because the brains are the same. The only difference is the physical. So we are talking about a day where women should reminisce or go back to what women did on that day. Yes, these were factory workers who came up on that day. Cameroonian women should not be given effigies to carry and parade the streets. Cameroonian women should be able to come out and
But that's
feel
sensitization.
Sensitization about people's effigies or
Also,
political campaign.
It also depends.
Some carry
we have
even
heroes.
messages
Messages they
They
don't
don't
read,
even read.
they are
They
not
hold
aware
placards.
of. Please give women the opportunity to come out and express themselves. 30 years after Beijing, I wouldn't have expected in the capital of Cameroon a parade on the streets. I would have expected a conference where women are doing an evaluation and evaluating the past and charting a way forward for sustainable development in this country to happen on a level let the playing ground be level.
You are a woman leader.
Yes.
A woman empowerment leader. Also, you are a human rights leader of women. I think what you're saying makes a lot of sense. But where I think that you should not delete one to include the other is coming in with a conference when during the 1 month you are clamoring for, you can have the conference, but you have the parade.
During the whole year.
The parade has its place. The conference has its place.
It has no place. We don't have time for orgies. Please, we have gone past that narrative.
And now
we now need to use our brains. The women can change the narrative. They can cause a paradigm shift in this country, being a majority of the population. You don't need to go to the streets and parade before the world will know that you commemorated a day. I saw elsewhere a group of women being visited by their head of state in their farm, producing onions in tons.
As part of activities.
Not activities. Yesterday, the 8th of March, they were on their farms in a group farming,
initiative.
Harvesting. Such initiatives are what are going to put food on your table, not parading with effigies and messages that you yourselves are not conscious of.
I'm not going to extend that. I would rather ask you this, all of you, and beginning with you, Yvonne. I expected one of you to talk about the fact that we don't have excesses again, we don't have deviances as we used to have before. That is a lesson.
Please change that narrative. When the men do the excesses, some went for whiskey drinking competition. I'm sure both have died in Kongsamba. Did that?
Are you talking about men or women?
Why is it that when it's about women, you point your 10 fingers on them?
No,
it's about men,
we want heroes.
Even want, look, heroes.
Those are isolated cases.
Say we are equal.
Those are isolated cases.
No,
you want to come and put on the table.
We didn't go to look. Drinking and having their excesses is their human rights.
For women?
Why not? They are
and
humans.
Misbehaving.
Human.
And misbehaving.
Human rights.
Exposing their nudity.
It's you. That's your perception. That is misbehavior. Give that woman her right. She knows what she needs. It's not about drinking. Do some of you men not go out there to drug these women so that they carry the cover? and you take it to transform into an issue of discussion. I saw so much news about a woman doing what in food. Men do that too. We watched it on social media. That was not highlighted. Please, when it comes to women, consider us equals.
Cut us some slack. Are you saying
you will not think that one day men do the excesses for 366 days.
Thank you. You are taking you are taking it also to
no, please.
No, it's okay. Your point has gone through.
Fingers.
Your point has gone through.
Consider that woman out there who dances and did your mother,
give the three
your
other
sister,
panelists,
your wife,
give the three other panelists the opportunity.
You will not be that
equal opportunity.
Those stereotypes will not be used.
Maybe I should just cue in for what she was saying.
Is it about the same idea? Because we have two other.
Yeah, I understand. Cueing in from what she says, sometimes the way things women do is being amplified is different, and that's why we are looking at that narratives should change. We take, for example, maybe a man who has been cheating his whole life wakes up one day and finds out his wife just cheated. The narratives are different. The way they handle it is different.
No.
We are not saying that is something that should be encouraged. What we are saying is that if something is bad, it should be denounced at every level, and not whether it was done by male or female gender. Now let's come to the femicides. I think we cannot even count the number of femicides we've recorded since January.
Yes.
Every day we hear a man has either killed a woman, a man has battered a woman, a man has done this.
It's not only
and
about
most
men
cases,
that are killed. Some of them you don't know who has killed. Now,
my point is this.
That's
my point is this. We want to see these cases.
Sandrine,
we want to see these cases.
Look at check your time. Check your time.
No,
we have less than 2. No, we have less than 2 minutes. You are derailing from the this topic.
No, Killian, we wanted to run off here.
No, lessons learned. You are taking also other issues about women. We're just talking about lessons learned. Now, okay, we have 1 minute that's going to be shared between the two other panelists. You are not going to end. You have been starting, Madam Kawa. Lessons learned. I don't know how many lessons you're going to give us in 30 seconds.
Definitely, the lessons are shared. Women have a lot of lessons to learn. I'm not going to go over that again. But like Sandrine said, I'm going to tap into that. It's a shared responsibility. I believe that the universe is much harder on women than they are on men.
Thank you.
The listing is maximized. Stories where there's male and female culprits, especially when it concerns spoiling the society, let me put it that way, like it is on the streets, the women are blamed first. Meanwhile, when you look at it, yesterday there were more men out than women. That was the first thing. Space. And on my way driving here this morning, I saw a man shit-faced in a gutter, drunk. If it was the Women's Day, it shouldn't be the case.
That's a bad example. Yeah, thank you so much. That's a bad example. That's a bad example. Nobody condones that. Nobody condones that. And why should the society be harder on women? According to me, it's a personal opinion. You know, we look forward to women as examples. Naturally, you are soft. You should be examples. You are more beautiful. You should be examples in all aspects of society.
Let's not forget the fact that we are first humans. We are humans first.
Now, let us have the last word. Let us have the last word from Joseph Desiree.
Thank you, Killian, for this opportunity. The lesson I learned as a human rights defender is that for this year, we had the impression that the men joined the women in the celebration.
Men engaged.
And it is something really interesting. But it should not just remain in the celebration. We should really have many men involved in this battle to give more dignity to women, to empower the women in the society and improve their role. I believe on it, and our organization also too believe on it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Joseph Desiree Zebaze, human rights defender. You defend the rights of human beings, defend the rights of the women. Thank you so much, Tatiana Kawa, Adamu, entrepreneur. Thank you, Sandrine Moma, peace journalist. And thank you so much, my own sister that I called you, Yvonne Moma B, civil society activist. And thank you so much for coming. I want to thank you also, ladies and gentlemen, for your time.